Hey, welcome to, the day before Canada Day Good Morning Show. And I'm so delighted to be with a second time guest. You're the first second guest, Patricia.
Woohoo!
Patricia Monna is a internationally known psychic medium, remote viewer, founder of Psychic Awareness Retreats. Plus, she's dedicated her time and expertise to local and international law enforcement agencies from around the world to help locate missing persons and bring closure to victims of homicide, kidnapping, or unexplained disappearances. I always thought when I was driving up to Sudbury one day that I was going to get beamed up by an alien, and that one out. Anyway, in addition, I don't know why Sudbury, but anyway, in addition to locating missing persons, Patricia teaches psychic development, guided meditations, and meets privately with clients from around the globe. And she joins us on Zoom, which is a miracle unto itself because we had technical difficulties. I had hit for that. Now I don't. Yeah. Welcome back. Happy Canada.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And happy Canada Day week. And for our buddies, happy 4th of July. So here we are. I want to talk to you today about what the hell's going on. We're into this pandemic. In July, it'll be 4 months. What's your take on what's happening, and how do we all need to approach life right about now? Because, it's a big question, but
that's a big question. That is a big question. That's a big question. I'm glad you asked it though, because there is a massive shift that's happening right now, and COVID. When you have something that completely hits the world, and there is no one, doesn't matter if you're hiding under a rock, it's gonna come, and you're gonna hear about it, and you're gonna feel the fear, the momentum of the energy behind it. You're not gonna be the same, whether it has hit us in the pocketbook, or it socioeconomically, or whether it's hit us in the health or family, or even caused ruckuses within marriages because they were trapped in jail together for too long. You know what I mean? It's hit every single one of us differently. So I started talking about this big shift that I could feel coming in. I started talking about it, I think, back in 2013, 2014. And that was when Spirit told me, okay, you got to start learning. What you're learning now, you're going to start teaching. And in about 2017, I started telling everybody, okay, guys, this is the preparation time. We got to be prepared for what's coming, because in 2020, we got some big shifting to go on. And I didn't know it would be a virus. I just knew there was something that was going to hit every single one of us. Because there is an ascension feel to this. There is, we need to go within, look within, start asking those big existential questions. My God, people think that we are just the body and that we just work and home and family. And no, there's way more to life than what we can see with our own two eyes. And I think that the veil is super thin right now, and it's a great time to start looking within, or finding your connection to source energy, to God, that universal Gaia energy, whatever you want to call it. Just find your plug-in, because when you do, that's where you're going to find peace, right? And don't mean to get all biblical, but just like it says in the Bible, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Mm-hmm. And that's what COVID is making us do. It's making us go within, stay home, close our doors, not be that social butterfly that we usually are, especially in the summer. It's making us cocoon and take care of the things that matter the most to us. I think that through this, it's really waking people up to what matters.
Yeah.
Right? Because if it's not COVID, there's other bombs going off in people's lives too. If it's not the socioeconomics, like I know a bunch of people where it feels almost like karma is coming around. Karma is at every single dinner table right now. And so we really need to be consciously aware of what it is we are bringing to the table. Yeah, I hope that makes sense, because I've seen a lot of what goes around comes around coming around right now. There's an energy to it.
Yeah, and it's so disruptive. And COVID is like, I teach small business, and I just did a webinar in the fall on, disruptors, right? And like the biggest freaking disruptor of them all.
In history. There's
And
never been anything like this before for 4 months, before it shut down the whole entire world.
Yeah. And it knows no boundaries. I mean, it's economics, it's health, you're right, it's relationships. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what color you are either.
And it doesn't matter what age you are.
No, it doesn't.
Luckily with my family on Sunday, and just for a few hours, and we all physically distanced and we were mindful. But I have a great niece who's 6 months old. I couldn't go hug her.
Yeah.
And then I have another great niece who's going to be 8 in a couple of weeks. And, she's going mental. She's bored. Can't go to school, really? The same.
Yeah.
Right? So, it's.
Were you able to give her a hug?
No, because she wasn't there. But the baby, she's so cute. But, yeah, and fist pumping people. I had a meeting today yesterday, and with a client, and we sat together, we shook hands actually, and I've hugged one person in like 4 months.
I know. I was just about to say, when you're single, living by yourself, that's painful, especially if you're very empathic, because I'm a massive hugger. And if there is anything that I'm really missing through this, it's my daily hugs, because there's no one that comes through my office that doesn't get a hug from me.
Yeah, and I don't care. Like, I'll give a hug if I go. I hug trees now. So
good idea.
Yeah.
Very good idea.
The energy. Okay,
totally.
I like that, but I don't care. Some say a second wave is coming, Patricia, and I always say, careful what you say, because you can speak it into existence.
Yeah, but you're right. But I think it's already pre-planned. The reason why, so if you look at Bill Gates and how smugly he sits there and says, ooh, there's going to be an even bigger wave in the fall, and everyone's going to need their vaccinations. Life isn't going back to normal until the vaccinations. So here's the thing. I can hear the narrative already. I know that they're going to say, you guys didn't listen. You guys didn't know how to social distance because of the rioting. Look at what you've done. Look at what you've done. I can hear that. And I think that the narrative is already chosen for there to be a second wave. I believe that the governments know a heck of a lot more than they're letting us know. And I think that, like I said, I think it's already pre-planned. There's no avoiding it because the narrative has already been chosen.
So Patricia, one thing that we're seeing is so many beliefs about what's happening now, and you say the narrative has been chosen. So let's call out the elephant in the room. I'm in a ton of different conspiracies to this. Some people on the positive say, hey, it's a time for us to heal, and it's a gift. It's population control. Some say it's vaccines. Some say it's a new world agenda to
It's all of that wrapped in.
Yeah. So
it's all of that.
One woman I follow on Facebook who says, don't worry, the aliens are coming. There's a new Earth, and we're all going to be beamed up on ships. Right?
Really?
Yeah.
I want some of that stuff.
Bring
No, I don't think that we're getting beamed up by aliens or anything like that. But I definitely think that there is.
Who's right now?
Well, I believe that there's truth in bits of all of that, actually. I believe that there is already a predetermined narrative. My question is, okay, if they know where this thing came from, right? And they know who let it out of the bag, why has there been no arrests? Why have no labs been shut down permanently or burned to the ground for all the people that they've killed? Like, they've killed hundreds of thousands of people now, this lab did. So why has there been no arrests?
Yeah.
Why is no one talking about that?
Yeah.
See, and I believe it's because they're dictating the narrative. Look about how any doctors that spoke out they were immediately reprimanded and their videos taken down and flagged, right? For misinformation. Well, when one person is controlling the narrative, that's very scary, very, very scary stuff. So I believe that it is our duty to challenge the narrative, to use critical thinking at this time, and to use our own level of discernment to go, okay, something's not right here. If it doesn't feel right, examine it. Look into it. Do your homework. Do your homework. That's what I want to say to people. Do your homework, and you will come to a conclusion that will blow your mind.
Yeah.
It really will. And I think that if people really, really, really knew what this was all about, they wouldn't believe it. It'd be too mind-blowing for them to believe it. I really believe that. There's a lot.
Yeah.
So it's, what can we do as individuals to make sure that we're staying in a state of peace? That is the biggest thing. Because right now, there really isn't much that we can do other than sit in a state of peace, say a prayer, meditate, find our center, so that if anything hits the fan, we have our center. Because we can be on death row and still feel peaceful or still be happy. It's a choice. No matter what we're facing, we have a choice in the way we face it.
Right. And you know what? Like, I watch on occasion this fellow from Elevation Church, Pastor Stephen Furtick, who's a brilliant speaker and very inspiring young man. He's 40 years old. And when this first started, you know, he was preaching in an empty auditorium. About 40,000 people watched him on YouTube. And he said, I'm not going to let what's happening take away my joy.
Yeah, you can't.
Right? Like,
yeah,
you could let it take away your joy. So you have joy, you know? And it's joy usually in the little things.
Yes, absolutely. Life is changing right now. Everything is different. The way people react to each other, you know, like no one's hugging, no one. But I think the biggest thing is, okay, fine. If you're not allowed to handshake, you're not allowed to hug, but you're allowed to make eye contact. Like no one's even looking in the eyes to each other anymore. You know, I don't know. I just get such a feeling of energetic disconnection when I tune into the collective. And I think that for people who can understand what the ascension is about, or had a little bit of wisdom going into this time, it's going to be easier. But for the people who are just trying to find their peace now, that's going to be really tough, because the energy isn't supporting that. The energy is picking us up and throwing us where we need to go. Well, so learn how to fly.
Well, what's going to get it to change? You know, they're doing more collective meditations. I want to launch this Hands Across the Planet and get 1 million people connected.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. The power meditation is huge.
So what will get this to shift, you know? Because I don't know, like there, as I said, there's so many narratives going on, so many stories, so many different perspectives.
Yeah.
And we're all looking for maybe somebody outside of ourselves to save us, but that's not maybe going to happen. Maybe it's up to us to save ourselves.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think that one of the things that my guides are pointing out is, did you notice that there hasn't been any wars since COVID? All the wars have stopped?
None that we've heard of. There's still some fighting in some places.
Is there still fighting? It's just not, from what I heard, it's not as bad as what it was before.
True.
So I'm hoping that maybe peace can come out of this, that we can work together in unity and find some middle ground where we can realize that we really are all one. And what I do to you, you do to me. I'll tell you what my guides told me. They showed me that when we die, okay, you know how people who've had a near-death experience, they say that they saw light at the end of the tunnel, right? They said that their whole life flashed before them, right? Well, yeah, that's true. But what not a lot of people I hear talk about is,
my favorite hockey players growing up are there. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, hold on. So you're going down this tunnel, your whole life is flashing before your eyes, right? And one of the things that not a lot of people talk about is how that felt. So when you're going through your life review, you're not going through it through your eyes. You're going through it through the eyes, hands, body, consciousness, everything of every single person you've ever come into contact with. Yeah. So we'll say you're walking down a crowded New York sidewalk, and you're going against the grain, and all these people are looking at you as they're coming to you. You're going to see yourself through every single set of eyes that registered you. You're going to see yourself through your teacher, your mother, your father, your best friend, the grocery store clerk, anyone who you've interacted with, both negative and positive. You will see yourself through those eyes. That is how we know the cause and effect, the ripple effect, the actual ripple effect that is left here long after we're gone. That's how we know. We have to experience it through the other's eyes. Just like it says in the Bible, do unto others as you'd have done unto yourself, because you actually are. You're going to feel it. So, which brings me to someone like Mother Teresa. So for someone who is so imbued with light, where people hold her in such high regard and love, that is like golden energy when she crosses to the other side. All that praise, all that love and warmth, that's what she will be cocooned in and feel. She will feel the love, the shift that she made in every single person's life while she was here doing her service, right? Now you look at Hitler. He has to go through every single person that he put into those gas chambers, that he had in those concentration camps.
Plus he killed,
and for generations to come.
Yeah.
Because even it says in the Bible, the sins of the father are passed down generationally, 7 generations. Well, guess what? In the study of epigenetics, this wonderful science that we have now, it proves that generational trauma is passed down through bloodline, right? And this is why, even though slavery isn't in my lifetime, or even in your lifetime, not where we live anyways, it's not at all where we live. It is still in the collective consciousness. The pain is still there within the collective because it's still passed down through the DNA. So we have to heal our individual wounds. We have to heal ourselves on not just a mental, emotional, physical level, but on a DNA deep level. You know what I mean? If we don't want to keep passing down this trauma, and we have to be the change that the next generation needs to see. But anyways, that life review, it can be scary or amazing stuff, but it's up to you on how you lived your life. How did you leave people? Did you leave them 10% happier than before they met you? Or did you leave them feeling depleted? And because if you did, you're going to feel that drain, and so that's why it is so important to just stay as high vibrational as you can.
Yeah, I agree. And everybody benefits around you, right? And you are the
totally.
Pillar of
it becomes an energy. Yeah.
So the other thing, so there are so much noise about what's going on. I'm getting the need to shut off some of these messages and media, and especially the media I'm consuming, both social media and traditional media. I'm about to cut my cable, actually.
Good for you.
I know, I'm a little nervous.
You should get Gaia. I'm going on George Norrie, Beyond Belief with George Norrie. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, of course. Coast to Coast.
Yay!
You're going to be on?
I am. They're flying me to Colorado August 15th, and then we film August 16th. And I have no idea when it's going to play, but yeah, in and out, and then I got to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Oh, no, right.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
so I'm excited because my mom, when I was a kid, I used to watch George Norrie with my mom. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for that.
He's on Coast to Coast AM on radio.
Coast to Coast, yes, yeah.
Anyway, so I think I'm about to cut my cable. It's like giving up my blankie.
Get Gaia. That was the point of me saying that. That'll feed your soul.
Okay. But I'm also, I find a need to be more quiet now. What are you feeling in advising your clients? What are you seeing in your clients? Are they saying that too to you? And
Um,
what?
it's really interesting that you asked that, because yes, I have not even just for me, even I have been turning out. I don't remember the last time I sat down and watched a TV show. I'd rather sit on my deck and read my book with a hot cup of tea, or take my dogs for a walk, or just turn the noise off. Even in the car, I'm listening to meditation music instead of CJ92 or rock music. I couldn't even be bothered with that loud noise. But I think that is part of the shift. That wanting to go within, that noticing the sensitivities within you, honor it, and you'll be just fine. Because it's your body's way of saying, okay, this is overload. I've had enough. So that's when you got to listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been noticing a lot. And it was last week, I think it was Monday, a week ago, or a couple of weeks ago, a week and a bit ago. And all the people I follow on YouTube, I couldn't even consume. It was like, I can't hear them anymore. So are we being guided like within then now? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
So that voice that's getting louder and louder, it's them. That's our connection. That's our plug-in.
All right.
So for the people who, everything is energy. And I want you to think of your spiritual connection as a radio station. We've got all these stations, from 98.5 all the way to 101.5. You know what I mean? We've got all these. And it literally is, what are you plugging into? What are you listening to? And as you raise your vibration, you're going to start to hear the music that you want to hear, that you resonate with, instead of just throwing on the radio and hearing anything, because that's where the static comes in. That's where you need to direct. What do you want to listen to, right? So as you raise yourself up through meditation, through grounding yourself, hugging trees, all of that fun stuff, you will start to hear all of the amazing, beautiful songs on those higher stations, and it will guide you. And the thing is that we are getting through things much quicker than we ever did before, because the instructions are louder. We're able to turn up that dial without having to do fasting and a million prayers. And it's like this now. I believe in, how do I explain this? Like, I know that there's some people who need to meditate in order to get to that certain place, even with remote viewing. For me, it's an instant. I can, instead of having to go in, meditate for 20 minutes before I find a missing person, no, I can just go, okay, show me a picture. Oh, I know where they are. It's instant now. There's no transmission time. So you'll notice, like I said, you'll get through things easier because the information's easier to assess, to understand, to integrate, or I don't know, the right advice is louder.
So there's hope in that, because if we
absolutely
get quiet,
you got to understand, in devastation, we seek. When we're on our knees, we seek. We finally look up and say, okay, God, what's this all about? Or how can you help me out?
Right.
We finally look up. Sometimes people need to be squeezed before they'll look up.
And you know what? For those think I'm a whack job, I'm gonna come clean. I don't get a lot of messages yet, but I get feelings and I get tingly. And I'll give two things that I'll never forget. It was when my mom was about to pass away, about 8 years ago, and she had Alzheimer's. So it was really not a really good quality life at all. Anyway, thank you. She was a great lady. 86, so she did pretty well. Anyway, so I'm home morning cleaning, and I get a message in my head. I'm like a thought. Oh, you're going to do the eulogy at your mom's funeral, and I'm going, why am I thinking this? Like, that's right. 2 hours later, my sister calls here in Toronto and says, "Oh, Dave, mom's really not well, and she had like maybe what would have been COVID or some sort of pneumonia." And she said, we might have to go in. And by 2 o'clock, we drove into Ottawa together to see my mom. And my mom was already in a coma. And I felt, and tingles of energy. And I thought, oh, that's her. She's already on the other side.
Yeah.
And then guess what? She passed away Wednesday. Friday, I did the eulogy.
Wow.
Right?
So that is spirit. That is spirit guiding you, preparing you, because that's the same thing happened to me when my dad died. I was taking a nap. I still remember my yellow pajamas that I had on that. And I was napping in the afternoon with my son, took him after cleaning the house all morning. And I remember laying there going, I wonder what I would do if dad died. How would I handle that? Oh God, I'm executor. He's got to change that. I don't want to do that. And this whole conversation about what I would do if my dad died. And then I was like, oh, thank God, I don't have to deal with that. No. Like he's safe. He's fine. Well, within 2 hours, that's interesting that you say 2 hours too. Within 2 hours, I got the phone call that he had been killed. So it's interesting how our gut, our spirit, they'll come back to say goodbye to us, to give us that. And that's the thing. It feels like a thought, David. It's not like I heard my father's voice inside my head. It's not like I heard a male voice or a female or any voice. It felt like a random thought. That's why I always tell people, pay attention to your thoughts, because you have no idea how much truth is intermingled in there. How many times have you known something and gone, oh, crap, I knew that. I should have done that, or I should have said that. I knew that, right? Because we do know. We do have that precognition. It's just how many of us pay attention to it.
You got to act. If you have an idea to do something good, act on it. For my first ever training gig years ago, I was visualizing in February, and this is after like a marriage divorce, getting fired from my first ever job. It was like, okay, bring it on, buddy. What else do you got for me? Anyway, so I would visualize. I was reading Robin Sharma's The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, which I really recommend. It's a good book. And I practiced visualization, and I saw myself teaching in a classroom that had light pink walls. So February, on September 6th, the day after Labor Day, I got my first ever teaching gig to teach a marketing course to new entrepreneurs. This is September 1999. And the room had light pink walls, and I got paid nicely for it.
There you go. That's amazing. Precognition.
You got to do the work.
Yes, you do. Exactly. You do.
See things happening, meditate, be open to synchronicities, to messages, and trust and know. Like, maybe we can give a little good news. We're surrounded by lots of help right now, like the angels and
huge. So just as much as there is darkness, we are being hugely embedded with light right now. It's just a matter of, are we asking for it? It's a choice. We still have a choice.
Yeah, but we have to act, and we have to go to war now. Yeah,
you got to initiate it.
Yeah,
it is. And you know what? I think World War III is a spiritual war. I do. We're scared of what we can't see. We're not scared of, we're petrified of each other. We're not scared of bullets. We're scared of what we can't see. That's spiritual.
I probably croak in a minute. So, it's like, we're scared of, we're scared of what we can't see. We're scared of a disease. We don't even know, if it really exists.
Exactly. We're just believing what we've been told.
Yeah. Why are some countries having a bigger challenge than others? I mean, it's easing here in Canada.
Well, I think that, but I think that overcrowding, like if you look at Brazil for a minute, like they're living on top of each other. Same thing with Italy. Same thing with China. Same thing with like Venezuela. Pardon?
Oh, in Africa.
Say that again. Sorry, it cut out.
Africa. Right.
Well, did you hear that they're doing their first vaccinations in Africa? Why Africa? Why Africa? Honestly, why aren't the Black Lives movements all over that? Protect your people, honestly, because they're literally sacrificing themselves for the sake of Bill Gates and his profits.
And they haven't proved
guinea pigging them.
It's like they are guinea pigs, and
totally. But why Africa? Why is it always Africa?
No.
Why not Canada or the States or, I don't know, Germany or France? Why Africa? That is concerning.
Yeah.
That's where they do all their guinea pig tests. That is concerning.
So the, you know, the States is having huge challenges. Canada's calmed down. Why that distinction, do you think? Like, why is that happening like that? Is it karma? What is it?
I think, well, here's the thing. Think of it this way. Why is it that not everyone is getting this? And not everyone, even if they do, they're not getting it the same. So if you look at, for example, Trudeau's wife, she had COVID, he didn't. You know, they're under the same roof. Some people have no symptoms, completely asymptomatic. Other people have died from it. So it does have, I know that there are actually certain ethnic groups that are more susceptible to this because of the ACE2 inhibitors in their, or ACE2 receptors in their lungs, because it binds to that. COVID binds to that, to the epithelial cells in the lungs, right? So it's.
And you're a nurse, by the way, for those watching. Patricia was.
Yeah. I'm retired from it now. I have my own business now, but I was a nurse for 13 years. I think that there's so much that has to do with, are people getting it or not, or why people are getting it or not. I think some of it has to do with resonance. If you look at what lowers our immune system, stress, eating poorly, working too much, not sleeping right, things like that, right? So we've got those factors that can pull down a person's resonance. We also have the fear. We know what fear does. It triggers it triggers the fight or flight response with adrenaline and cortisol and all the stuff that's not good for your heart. You know, our heart only has a certain amount of beats from start to finish. We don't want to be wasting them when we shouldn't be, right? So there's a lot that can contribute to why a person will get this or not. I think that you cannot get it if it's not written in your timeline, because this is an experience. This will shake someone to the core. Even if they got sick and they think they have it, they're going to have the crap scared out of them, right? Oh my God, am I going to die from it? Am I going to this? Am I going to spread it? Am I going to this and that, right? What does it do afterwards? Well, when you look at how this virus is made, it's HIV spliced with SARS, candy coated in corona. The shell, the outer shell is the corona. If you look at the inside of it, it's HIV and SARS. So I don't think people who've gotten it will, I think that they're going to have some scars in their DNA from it. Because we know that I just don't think that you can come out of this unscathed for people who have had it.
And even
I think that there will be testing for years to come on the people who have had it to see the long-term effects, because it's a biological weapon. That's what it is. It's not a live virus. It's not alive. There's no life force energy to it. So it's, when that enters your system, I don't know if you're the same after.
And there's also a stigma attached to it, that those who have it, people are going, ooh, stay away. And it's going to scar people that don't have it either, you know? I think. Totally.
Like there's no one, that's what I mean. Like there's no one coming out of this unaffected one way or another. If it's not your health, it's your bank account, or it's your relationship. It's something. And I think that that's where the karma part of it comes in. So it's not that someone gets COVID and it's their karma because they were a bad person. It's not that. It has more to do with their resonance than anything else. So if there's a piece of advice that I can give you, it's keep yourself up here with, and how do you do that? all of your senses, make sure that they're sensing things that are not full of anger, hatred, those lower emotions and all that. You know, even what we're listening to, let it be uplifting music. Let it be music that sends you feeling like this instead of like this, you know. Music that has trauma behind it, we're now resonating with the writer's trauma, you know. Like, I used to love Eminem, and now that, you know, I've made peace with my mom, I don't need to clean out my closet anymore. So I can't listen to that music with so much hatred and anger, right? I don't need to resonate at his grief or at his level of trauma anymore.
Yeah.
And that's when, you know, you're seeing things from a different angle.
I listen to jazz all day long. Seriously.
That's awesome. I bet your cells are uber happy with you.
Yeah, they are. And I love it. And it's good music, you know. And Patricia.
Yes.
On my own, I sing a mighty fine Fly Me to the Moon by Frankie Sinatra.
I bet you do.
But
on your own?
Watching today. Because we're heading into Canada today. We want to have a nice day. Question. How are we doing with this awakening? Because that's what a lot of people are saying too. Oh, we're waking up. And for those who don't know what that is, are you okay to share what that means?
Oh my goodness. It means so many different things to so many different people, right? I do think that this is part of the Great Awakening, that this is sort of an end times. You know, the Bible can call it that. And now I kind of understand what it means by that, because we can't go back to being the same.
Mm-mm.
There's no same after this. I think that everything that's been swept under the rug globally, it's coming to the surface. I really do. I think that certain world leaders are going to be in very hot water for the things that they've done in the past. I think that the Great Awakening, it's the unveiling of truth. And some of it's really, really not pretty, because there are some really dark people out there that don't want to make this world a better place, that want to instill fear and darkness and control. That, I think the biggest thing that I have a problem with is the amount of control that these people want to have over everyone and everything. And I'm not a robot. I know you're not. And I know the people listening to the show are not robots. We can think for ourselves. And when our rights are slowly taken away one by one, we need to start questioning what's going on. You know what I mean? And all the censorship bothers me. It suppresses the awakening almost, right? It puts us in a state of fear. And that's not where we should be. We need to be sitting in a state of faith and trust, because as much as there's a lot of negativity going on around out there, it doesn't need to be you, it doesn't need to be me, and it doesn't need to be the person watching this either.
Quoted the Bible, and there's that quote, "You're in this world, you're not of this world."
My mother used to always say that to me, and I love that quote. Yeah, it's very true.
I sometimes feel it's like, with all that control, it's like I just want to shake it off.
Yes, it feels heavy. Even talking about it, it's like, ugh.
I want to get out of that jacket.
Yes.
When I come home from work, okay, TMI here. You know, I'm in my work clothes. Now I'm in my shorts and a t-shirt. But
nice.
I come home from work, get the tie off, the jacket off, and I just get in my t-shirt and boxer shorts. That's how I feel, you know, with the control. And, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
I feel that too. There is a very stifling energy to it, where you just want to feel the freedom. I've been every weekend. My husband and I have a nice trailer out in BC that we go to on the weekends, and I got to tell you, it's great that the Wi-Fi sucks out there.
Good. I want to also too. One other thing, I was talking to a colleague of mine on the weekend about, you know, here in Ontario, 78% of the deaths have been in long-term care, and I said, who do they force getting a flu shot on the most?
Exactly. The elderly, absolutely. I got my flu shot once in my first year of nursing, and it landed me in the hospital. I ended up with double pneumonia from that. I never ever got it again. And I told them, because they can send you home, if you say no to the flu shot, and there's an outbreak, they send you home without pay, and you're not allowed to work until you're better. Fine, that's great, but you can't make anything mandatory as far as I'm concerned when it goes into your body. That should be a choice, right? It should be a choice if I want to work there or not, or if I want to take my risk and work there without a shot, or if I just want to not work there at all and say to vaccines, right? That should be a personal preference. But it is the elderly that get the majority of flu shots. Absolutely.
Yes, and they're getting the majority of these cases. Yeah. And let's examine what's in the freaking flu shot.
But if you also look at what COVID does, it steals your life force energy. It steals your breath. And for people whose life force energy is diminishing because they're elderly, they're not, their bones aren't as working as well, or their veins and, their heart and their organs don't work as well, that means their resonance is naturally lowered. A naturally lower resonance is going to be an open door for COVID, something that's looking to come in through grief. So that's the other thing. What do our lungs represent? Because COVID hits us in the lungs. It's hitting us in the grief. So what is Mother Nature, Gaia, trying to get us to do? Get rid of the grief, right? Up and out with the grief. It's hitting us there.
Yeah.
So it's, and unfortunately, some people, their life force energy isn't strong enough to withstand something like that. But I will say, a quarantine is supposed to be for putting the sick people away, the people who are vulnerable away, and leaving the healthy to carry on. I shouldn't say more. Your turn.
I agree. And, I know early in the game, I think it was in March, once the weather was not bad, I started to go out on walks just for here.
Good.
And,
Good.
So little things like that you can do. What can we expect this weekend with a lunar eclipse happening? What fun and games could we?
Well,
what's next? In other words, it's
yeah, no doubt. Well, and then we got in August, we have the Lionsgate portal, and that one's going to be big.
Yeah, what else?
I personally think that these are periods of energetic amplification, where if you are in tune with your guidance system and you feel that spiritual connection, it's going to get louder. It's going to get way more wide open, amplified. That's what these gateways provide. So same thing with the solar eclipse that just happened, and the equinox that just happened. Those are all gateways that provide a different stream of consciousness or energy to come in. So for people who, meditate on those dates, it's going to be pretty amazing. Watch what you're tuning into. Tune into that highest level of joy and love on, when did you say it is? Saturday? Friday? Friday? So meditate and stay in that highest state of love, and you will feel it ripple right through your body at such an accelerated rate, because that's when the energy is at its highest, right? And I think that there is a difference between a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. They represent, different things.
Yeah, night and day.
Pardon?
Night and day.
Absolutely.
Darkness and light.
And I also think that it shows what's coming to the surface as well, because an eclipse is what's hidden coming out.
So we get some surprises maybe.
Oh, we do. Yeah, we're not done with surprises here. We're totally not done being shocked. Oh no, this 2020 should have been on Maury Povich in 1980. No, this is about to get good.
All right, thanks.
Oh, sorry. I didn't lose you, did I? Sorry, someone was trying to call me.
We got a nice picture of you. But next time, it's a lampshade, okay? I'm just saying. My last question is, what do you advise someone if they're really worried about their home economy right now? I mean, this is just one concern. What do you?
Their own economy? Sorry, what was that?
Their home economy. You know, I lost my job. What if CERB runs out? You know, all that stuff. Like, because we really got to trust right now.
Yeah, and this is where trusting does come in. Now, hold on just one second. I'm just going to ask about that. You have to stay in your heart space. COVID is hitting everyone differently, and it's showing you what needs to change. Unfortunately, if your bank account was the one that it got hit in, you got to stop and think, did I love what I was doing? Was I madly in love with that job, that career? Because not everyone's been hit in the bank account, right? Same thing with divorce. I know a lot of people who have separated through this, where this was the straw that broke the camel's back. Well, guess what? It was just showing what was breaking. It was highlighting it. It was showing what needed to change. So for the people who are stuck in, well, I'm facing this challenge, I'm facing this, sit back, become the observer. Ask your higher self, what is it that you want me to learn from this? What do you want me to do moving forward? And how do I get there? Start with that, and then just let it go. Sink into those questions and let it go, because when you ask, you will receive. Every time you will. And just like now, here's how you will receive. So you know how it says in the Bible, before you will have asked, I will have already answered. Well, one thing that I've noticed being a psychic is that when I ask a question, we'll say like, where are my keys, right? Before I get to the keys, oh, they're on the kitchen table. Where are oh, there they are. That's how they answer you. It will feel like you're talking to yourself. It will feel like you. It'll feel like you. Don't expect some big booming voice going, I am Archangel Michael, your keys are on the table. It's not like that. It's not. It's so soft. It's such a, oh, there it is. You know, oh, I knew that. Oh, I knew where that body was. Oh, I knew the winning lottery ticket numbers. Like, it's a knowing. The same way I know you're bald. It's a knowing. The same way I know you're wearing a green shirt. Sit in your knowing. Get into your knowing. Because that's where truth is, and that's where your next step lies. It's in your knowing. Know thyself. When you know thyself, you know what's yours. You know what's not yours. You know when your energy is being affected by you, or when something's being thrown at you, or someone's thinking evil, well, I shouldn't say evil, but negative thoughts of you. You'll feel it. It's got an energy to it, right? Feel it. Know what's yours.
And then let go.
And then let go and watch it come.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Final thought.
Know thyself.
What can we expect this summer moving forward?
Well, just so everyone knows, because I didn't know this, the Canadian-US border is open. You just can't walk across. You can't drive across. You can fly all you want across and come back. So I just wanted to let everyone know that.
Hey, there's no flights here, man. Like,
but there is.
Planes a day.
But what's that? Sorry?
2 planes a day. I used to say.
Oh, brutal. Yeah, they've cut them all down because no one's really flying. But there is international travel happening. So I thought it was completely shut down altogether. That was my understanding. It's not. It's not shut down.
But tell me, would you really want to go there right now? I wouldn't.
Oh, I have to go to Colorado next month.
But that's business.
Gaia.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's cool.
So, but here's the thing. If COVID is meant to be a part of my story in this life, it will be, whether I'm scared of it or not. So why be scared? It's just like death. No one gets out of this crap hole alive. So why live in fear? It's bloody ridiculous how much we stress ourselves. Guess what? We're all going to go there anyways. And when we do, it's going to feel like the most natural bloody thing we've ever done in our life is to die. We've done it before. We know what it feels like. I don't know. I was a palliative oncology nurse, so I was that special nurse that you didn't necessarily want to see because you knew you weren't leaving alive. And I have seen so many deaths and held people as they take their last breath. And it's a lot more peaceful than people realize. That room fills up with ancestors and angels and ascended masters, and it's just the most amazing experience. It really is. And to be part of that and to bring peace to someone in their time of need, in their worst time of fear, I'm telling you, we got nothing to be scared of. It's what we're projecting, right? If we're fearful of something, it's because we're projecting it onto our future.
Right.
Don't do that. Live in the now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that. I think we should leave it on that note. Live in the now. Not get to, enjoy tomorrow. Enjoy.
Absolutely.
Enjoy the weekend. Just be joy. Find joy every day. Whether it's good music, talking to a dear friend like you. Well, it's true. You're such a sweetie.
Thank you.
Or just, going on a walk, and or seeing your great niece from a distance.
Yeah.
That's all she is, coming into the planet right about now.
Oh, yeah. Crazy during a pandemic.
I know.
Wow.
Oh.
They're going to be like little light workers. That's what I think. Babies that are born now, they're going to be little light workers.
I know.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. You move something. What's up with that? Well, this was a joy. We reach you at patriciamonna.com, right?
Correct. Yeah.
You have classes, readings, and are you going to do, I'm going
to Egypt. Yes, I'm going to Egypt with Johnny Enoch, Jay Widener, and Mohammed Ibrahim. And that is next June. So if anyone wants to join me, there's information on my website there. I'm going to go read the history and the energy of the pyramids.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. I hope we're over this time next year because.
Oh, me too. I can't imagine this continuing going that far.
I know. It is my favorite day of the year. I love Canada Day more than my birthday.
Aww.
To do, and this year it's like
there's nothing.
Oh, no fireworks. No big.
There's no fireworks?
Don't think so.
Oh my Lord. Yeah, I guess I should look around my city and find out. I'm usually in Hawaii right now at this time.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I know. But you know what? If you stop and think about it, it changed our realities. It took us on a different course. You know what I mean? And I'm very curious to find out what's next. I'm actually quite excited about what's next. It doesn't feel all gloom and doom.
No, here too. I actually have some hope.
Me too.
But I think we have to start being that hope. And the more of us that are of that hope, we defeat the light. So I think we have to take we have to shift our. Don't worry about your job and your career right now and your business. Go shift the energy. Go take up a new, fighting for good and
absolutely.
Or helping women who are being beaten right now. And
well, you know what I always say? Kindness is a currency. People will always remember your kindness.
Right.
Always.
And how much does kindness cost?
Exactly.
That was a great place to stop. I really appreciate you. I love you. And
love you too, David. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Have a good Canada Day and summer.
Thank you.
That was Patricia Monna. She joined us on the Good Morning Show, and we'll be back next week. And I'm thinking parenting, how to parent your kids. I know.
Oh, Lordy, I got 3 boys, so.
Yeah, in my day, they made us walk 5 miles.
Right?
We're not doing that next week. Good day, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Thank you.